are now tuned into Yo Randy's Wrestling Podcast.
Yo, what's good, wrestling fam? This is Yo Randy, and we're back with the episode 3 of the podcast. And tonight we're breaking down the very first Monday Night RAW of the year. Now, I'm going to be honest here. Now, this show has some highs, some lows, and some choices, I wasn't fully feeling. So let's get into it. Now, before we even talk about the matches, we got to talk about the vibe of this show. Now, Raw came in with this almost Stranger Things type energy, dark lighting, eerie presentation, dramatic pacing. Now, look, I get what you're trying to do here, but for me personally, it doesn't fully land that way. Now, Raw is supposed to feel chaotic, unpredictable, and alive, and this felt more stylized than necessary. Now, this show opened with a promo-heavy segment, of course, and this was clearly WWE trying to set the tone for the year. And, you could tell, this wasn't just about tonight. This was about positioning people for what's coming. Some of the talk worked. Some of it felt a little long, but I appreciate the intent behind it. The first match of the night, did what an opening match should do. It woke the crowd up. Good pace, solid energy. Nothing groundbreaking, but, it set the rhythm. Excuse me. This felt like one of those matches that, that's less about the result and more about reminding us, where people stand. Now, backstage is where, Raw started being, it felt interesting. We got interactions that felt international, like seeds being planted. This wasn't random, this was WWE saying, look, here, hey guys, pay attention. These are segments that matter later, even if they feel small now, you feel me? The women's segment tonight had a lot going on, multiple personalities, overlapping stories, and, you could feel the tension. So even if nothing exploded yet. This felt more like chapter 1 and not the payoff. And I actually like that. Now, midway through the show, Raw slowed down again with another promo segment. This is where the pacing began to issue for me. The promo wasn't bad, but stacked on top of early promos, it made the show feel heavy. Raw works its best when balancing talking with action. You feel me? And, that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Raw works best when it balances talking with action. So, let's move on. The next match had more urgency. You could feel the crowd responding more. This is one of those, okay, now we're cooking moments. You know what I'm saying? Everything, we finna heat up. We finna light it up. This match, did more for momentum than the earlier one. You feel me? Now, backstage again, this was probably one of the better segments of the night. It was short, direct, purposeful, no overacting, no dragging, just enough tension just to make you feel like you want the match later. You feel me? Now, one thing I will say, Raw did a lot of character work tonight. You could see WWE trying to redefine how certain people are presented. New year, new tone, new direction. Some of it worked. Some of it needs time. But you know how it go. Now, as we got closer to the main event, the show finally found its groove. The pacing picked up, the energy picked up. This felt more like Raw we're used to. You feel me? The main event wasn't about stealing the show. It was about sending a message. And whether you loved it or not, you knew exactly what WWE wanted to walk away thinking. And this was about positioning, about hierarchy. You feel me? And, it worked for that in that sense. Now, overall, this Raw felt like a reset episode. And, not everything hit. The theme didn't fully work for me, but I respect the effort. So this was WWE trying to tell us this is the direction we're going in, and now it's on them to execute it. So, if I had to rate Raw, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Not bad, not amazing, but, definitely a foundation show. That's my breakdown of Monday Night Raw episode 3. Let me know in the comments, what did you like, the new vibe, or did it miss for you too, or what y'all think? You know what I'm saying? So this is Yo Randy, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.
You are now tuned into Yo Randy Wrestling Podcast.